Sway in the morning. We got one of Oakland's finest here. Kehlani is here. Last time she was. Yes, indeed. How you doing, Kehlani? How you doing? You good?
Kehlani.
I'm great. I'm just now waking up. It's early. We had a beautiful night. Celebrated the album. So.
Yeah, it was good until it wasn't. First of all, give her a round of applause. I watched this young lady career just consistently rise. I always like to tell the old school stories, but I've seen her since she was younger, performing at Laney College all the way to now, and now she's a force of nature in the business. And through a lot of trials and tribulations, you have become, listening to this album, it to me is, people come into their own. They come, they rise, they consistently rise. Their trajectories consistently rise. You take in accomplishments and you take in trials and tribulations and you start shaping and molding into the person you are today. And listening to this album, you sound so comfortable in your voice, and I can hear it. It was good until
Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. I feel like you like a relationship specialist now.
Yeah.
When
Kind of at this point, huh?
I mean, geez, and what's dope is, for me, it's like if I say for a song like "Serial Lover" that's on the project, and I'm like, damn, man, that what she describing kind of can apply to points in my life. I love when I could get a perspective, especially from a woman that I could identify with as a man, but I can't put that kind of stuff to words.
Right.
How are you able to put these emotions to words? Is it a lot of scribbling? Is it a lot of scratching when you do that? When you say I'm addicted to romance and you wear your heart on your sleeve, and do you do a lot of scratching out? Wait, hold up, that don't sound right. Or you just flow?
I try a bunch of freestyling first and try to get whatever comes out of my brain initially, because those tend to be the best ideas. And then when I have like a skeleton of something that I like, then I'll go put like official words to it. But it usually starts pretty free, just so that I don't, block my initial kind of stream of creativity.
And something else that I love that you're so great at, Kehlani, you and your team, is sequencing. Like Real Hot Girl skit into water is so flawless to me. Is that something that takes a while, or is that an easier part, deciding the order of your songs?
I think it's hard because after you make all the music, like you just made the music telling a story. But now you have to figure out, and I mean, it makes sense to you, but now you have to figure out the order, which is what really makes it make sense to everyone else.
Right.
Yeah. Kehlani is here. We talking about her new album. You said y'all celebrated last night. How did you celebrate? What did you guys do?
Everybody poured me some dang tequila. I think I deserve a tequila sponsorship after this album, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned tequila a good 70 million times. But everybody poured me some tequila, and we just cried and listened to the album and laughed and sang the songs, and it was a good way to have like a nice indoor celebration of the project, because we're in quarantine, so.
Right.
How are you coping with the quarantine? Like, is a lot of creativeness coming out, or you just banging your head against the wall?
I mean, I'm not banging my head against the wall. We had to basically take matters into our own hands when it came to the album, so we had to consciously decide how we were going to do it, and how quick we could do things, and how quick we could essentially learn entire new skills that we didn't really know before. We meaning me and my photographer, who ended up me and her starting a production company and directing, shooting, and editing all the videos for this album, the cover art, the rollout photos, the magazine photos that come along with everything. We ended up shooting all that ourselves, so we had to learn a lot.
Damn, I was reading about that, Sway, Kehlani, how You even turn your garage into part recording studio and then part like photo studio as well. And that your photographer is living with you, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we basically turned the garage space, which was all storage, into a recording studio, photos like shooting studio, and then a video editing studio. And it's super hot in there, but we sit in there, we sweat, and we make it work.
You make it work. So you shot all the videos in that same location, like Toxic, like what everything was shot there?
No, Toxic was shot in my bedroom, just on the fluke. That's kind of what kicked the whole thing off. Once I realized I could do it, my brain just kind of started clicking and realizing like how I could move forward and shoot things elsewhere. But we utilized the backyard, the garage. Me and my assistant, my photographer, took a trip up to Joshua Tree to shoot something. So we just been trying to be like super hyper aware of everything going on in the world, but also just trying to find cool ways to get things done.
Kehlani is here. Go ahead, Tracy G.
Yeah, and on the note about the Toxic video, which is so sexy, it is a bomb DIY video. So kudos to you, and kudos to Apple for developing their MacBook to be able to service you with that. I was peeping how a lot of your fans in the comments were like, Kehlani, you are making us gay. You are so sexy, girl. And I'm thinking about when you initially came out, and a lot of people would receive you as like a tom girl, as like their homeboy or whatever.
Yeah.
And now we've really seen you become more comfortable in your skin, where you can own it. You can own your femininity in all different directions, whether you're more soft or whether you're twerking. Can you talk about, was that a process for you? Was that something that was always there, but you just weren't ready to share that with us?
It was always there. I think if you know me in, very personal spaces, or if you're around me, you can know that once I'm comfortable, I'm a very, I don't want to say just a sexual person, but I'm very comfortable with myself enough to where things like energies like that can just flow. But obviously when I'm facing the outside world, or maneuvering through just even being outside in public spaces, it's easier for me to just kind of stay quiet and like stay calm and cool and collected. It's more like a comfort zone. But also on top of that, having a baby, really allowed me to tap into sexuality and sexual nature and femininity and just this different level of comfortability. I think I have never felt sexier than when I became a mom. I think motherhood is one of the sexiest things there is. And I think we have a weird habit with separating motherhood from sexiness, and I really think it goes hand in hand. So,
what about it? You think as a man, I will never know this experience. But what about specifically? Is it becoming a mom help you to feel sexier? Is it the way your body changed, or is it what you?
Yeah, it's just this new relationship with your body. Not only does your body change, but like you now have trust. You have a different trust level with your body. You have a different pride in your body because you just witnessed your body do the most magnificent thing. This different, just a whole different relationship with it. I went from being just me and my body to a whole apartment and essentially like an ecosystem, like for something else. And then I pushed her out of me. And I did that in the bathroom with no medication. So it was this whole other aspect to it of just like really crazy, epic, the hardest thing I've ever done. Also, I was naked in a room full of people, which is really not normal for me. So it was just like all these different factors that kind of forced me out of any kind of like uncomfortableness I had with my body and made me just like super close with it and appreciative and just more loving towards my body. And in that, I think that leaves an open kind of lane for you to be able to become more comfortable and sexual.
Right.
That process. I'm sorry, Tracy. I'm just imagining this because I watched my daughter born, and I damn near passed out. You know what I mean? And she was like, I felt the pain, and I wasn't even giving birth. Was that by design that you decided to have your baby at home without any medications?
Naturally.
Yeah, that was my plan. I wanted to experience home birth. I almost even wanted to be able to do it to also share as well, to show that it could be done, because of just the super foul mortality rates of Black and brown women in the hospital system, and dealing with birth. I kind of wanted to experience it for myself, and also let people know, like, this is an option that we have, and it's a better option. It's a safer option, I personally believe, and just kind of like, spearheaded with that. I've known my midwife since I was, in middle school. Okay. And so I've just seen how passionate she's been about birth and educating me about birth and, the safety of it all and the mortality rates of it all, my options. And I just really wanted to be able to do that and also share and hopefully inspire, because we need to get more people birthing at home.
Word up.
Wow. Kehlani,
shout out to our midwives and doulas too.
Completely. They're working tirelessly during this time, especially because a lot of people are now pulling out of hospital births because the hospital is kind of unsafe.
Mm-hmm. My sister actually performs births as well too, so she's in that realm and has been for years. And you echo her sentiment exactly. So man, I commend you. Plus, you must be pretty tough. That's that town blood in you right there. That's what that is.
Absolutely.
All right. It was good until it was. I want to play some songs. I do want to ask you, and I know that the internet was blowing up about you and Kamaya and what was going on with the back and forth. And for me, being from Oakland, I was like, ugh, shit, I know these queens are going to work it out. I love both of y'all.
Yeah.
What is the status of that and right now between the two of you?
I mean, right now we still haven't spoke. I would love to speak. I asked to speak multiple times, but it's no bad blood. I feel like we both kind of got. I feel like there was just like heat in the moment, like that kind of once the internet gets involved too, it adds a lot of fuel. So I'm not sure anyone on any side was as upset as projected, still to this day.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's room to fix it, because we have to set a good example, for the rest of our city. And it's just life's too short. I lost 2 friends this year, 2 females that rap that I'm very close to, 2 women that rap, and just to have like another friend that's a woman that raps that I'm proud of, that, it's just not worth it,
Yeah. In the end, I see that happening for the two of you. You two are the realest people I've met, and you know how we do in the town. I see that happening, and I think you two said is really important too, because it sets a good example. And,
yeah, for sure.
And it reminded me of the song "Everybody Business" too. The way that information about you just seems, yo, you good for internet. You know that, right?
Oh, for sure. I know that.
But by making the song, we just played "Leave Me Alone" by Michael Jackson, and even though those 2 songs don't sound the same, I think the sentiment is alike. How have you learned to cope with that? The fact that you're everybody's business. Have you gotten? Does it get under your skin anymore, or is it more now you learn how to use it as a tool?
I know how to use the internet as a tool, absolutely. Of course, it gets under my skin. I'm 25 years old. I grew up on the internet. I grew up in front of the internet. I've been accessible on the internet since I was, 16, 15 years old. It's gotten easier for sure. I've had to learn how to kind of give myself a set of blinders and kind of focus on the love and not like the extra crazy stuff that's going on. But it's always going to be there. It's beyond the saying like I signed up for it. It's really more just like, this is where we're at with it in the world. This is where we're at with it in society. And it's just something that I'm just going to have to deal with. So instead of combating it and making it this like well, why should I have to deal with this? It's like, let me figure out the best ways for me to deal with this.
Right, right. And recognizing that there's a blessing that comes with every like perceived burden in a sense, you know?
For sure.
And it has me, especially like, I'm grateful for you because you've been very transparent about just your sexuality and the fluidity that comes with it. And it hasn't felt forced at all. It hasn't felt like over exploited. And we have a whole generation. I'm thinking about Gen Z, who is also very open and they're exploring themselves. So although a lot of people are asking you as it pertains to this album about your last relationship with YG, I'm curious if you could share if there's a different approach to dating a woman versus dating a man. For a fan that might be like, all right, cool, like Kehlani, I'm ready to say aloud, I'm into girls, but I'm not ready to approach it, to navigate it, to try it. Is there a different way?
I just think you have to be sensitive when approaching, I don't know, anybody with assumptions. You just have to make sure that you ask first. You have to make sure not to make people uncomfortable, you know, because I think if you make a move on someone and you're very forward and maybe they don't identify with whatever you identify with, and it could, you know, it could lead to an uncomfortable, you know, situation. But I think it's just about communicating that and just being like, hey, like, I just want to check in and see if this is what it is. And if it is, then this is my intention, you know. But I don't know. I think it's just, being honest about where you're at with it and not being aggressive and just chilling and, you know, taking things as they come. I don't know if there's a super formula to it. I don't even really know the formula of approaching men. So
I heard that shit.
I feel you.
It just kind of happens, you know.
you end up in these situations.
You end up in these situations. You know, you was like on path to go on tour with Justin Bieber, correct?
Yeah.
Yo.
It's supposed to be the biggest tour.
Yeah, the Changes tour, Jaden Smith, and when I read about that, I was like, "Oh shit, she made it." You had already made, you already made it to me, but it was like, wow, that is just going to be such an awesome tour. Plus, I love that dude's music. When he makes R&B music, I really enjoy the R&B music. What happens now? What happens now?
I have no idea what happens now. I feel like they're probably not going to bring back touring for a little while because it's probably like one of the lesser kind of necessity-based events. But really, I think that it's a good thing that we're all just putting everyone's safety first and thinking about safety rather than, you know, just the touring space. But I do miss it, and I do hope that when everything comes back around, we can pick up where we all left off.
Yeah. Have you, Justin, ever even had a conversation, or was this a thing done with, you know, management and agents?
No, we're really cool. We're really cool. He was very personable to the entire experience. The songs, the tour, asked me to come on tour. Mm-hmm. Just he comes in and randomly hops on my Instagram live all the time to say I love you. He's a sweet guy. Him and his wife. I known his wife for a little bit too, so they're both really cool.
Really, you know, that's just one of those things. Like, you would imagine this dude that has been one of the hugest names, iconic artists in recent times. Even his wife, and when you meet them, man, they're more down to earth than folks who, you know, do a regular 9 to 5. You know, and that's hard to maintain. I feel the same way about you. I remember we were all hanging out in L.A. and I was really just happy to see you and feel your energy that day. And so hearing this music, you know, working with Masego, all these grieving, these powerful songs that sound so introspective. I don't know if every song is introspective. I always just assume that they are. But you really poured, you know, what does FMU mean?
Well, first, thank you for all the compliments you just gave. I didn't get a second to say thank you. So thank you. FNMU means I don't. Can I say a cuss word right now? Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. Go. Yeah, sure.
It means fucking makeup.
Okay, so I had that right.
It's not too introspective,
Yeah. Fucking make up. I thought you make up and then you fuck.
Well, some of us do it backwards.
Sometimes it makes it easier. It eases you into the makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, I'm still learning. I retired a long time ago, so I'm still learning. Kehlani, listen, when the quarantine is over, we definitely got to do this in person.
Yes,
congratulations. And happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Is this your first? No. This is your
It's
second
my
Mother's
second.
Day.
Yeah, it's my
It's your
second.
second Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day. Do you do anything special on Mother's Day, or you just hanging with your daughter?
I'm gonna just hang out with my daughter.
Okay, cool.
Play outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have Don Julio on the side.
All right. Damn.
Oh my goodness, the Don Julio will be very far away from me on Mother's Day.
Yeah. Make sure you drink some water. Hey, love you. Continue success. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all always.
All right, let's play Toxic, Adam. Well, what do you want to play? What would you like to hear off the album?
Me?
Yeah.
You should play Open. It sounds so nice in the morning.
Open. Okay, hold on. It's going to take me a second to dig that up. Hold on. Tracy, talk to her real quick while I dig up Open.
This is what happens, Sway. When you ask questions, you might get answers.
I had about 5 of them. She didn't pick none of the ones I picked. All right. Okay. Go ahead, Tracy, while I dig this up.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, Kehlani. Is it easier doing interviews at home where you're sitting down with your clothes, but at the same time it feels very back to back, I imagine? Or is it in person where you can also see our facial expressions and it kind of makes communicating easier?
I think I more so think about the effect of how the interview is going to be in the world afterwards. And I think that seeing people have a conversation in person always just transfers better and always just comes, like, you can really understand the energy going on in the conversation. Like, I know right now I just woke up and I probably sound so tired, but if we were in person, I'd probably have a lot more energy because I'd have been up already and, like, gotten dressed and, like, I probably had some coffee and made it to y'all studio, But either way, I'm happy to be back in the space of wanting to be more conversational and do interviews because I kind of shied away from press for a couple of years.
Right. Mm-hmm. I get it. We don't take that personally.
What was it?
Good. It's not personal.
Yeah, it's if even on the flip side of it, the side we work on, you gotta, I'm at a stage in my life where I back away from it too. It's this constant exchange of energy. And it could be, and you got to talk to people about stuff they not necessarily want to go into a lot of times,
right.
But you try to find a way to make it comfortable and know that it's coming from a genuine place. But man, I've been on this, Kehlani. I haven't even done a whole lot of Zoom interviews because I'm just over consumed with technology right now. We in front of
the screens is getting
crazy, yo.
We giving real Black Mirror vibes.
Word. Right? They're not even doing another Black Mirror season because the creator of it said
too bleak right
exactly. Now. He's like, we're in Black Mirror, so I'm not doing another season.
Yo, that's a trip. We are in Black Mirror. That's what it feels like,
Zoom,
right?
Zoom is taking over the world.
Yeah. But I'm gonna manage how I interact with Zoom. Has this Black Mirror state? How do you think it affected your creativity?
I think it's just made me kind of realize like that now. I mean, it's kind of turned all the power into it's kind of flipped all the power into our hands as creators. Mm-hmm. So it's rough and it's weird and it's new, but on the flip side, I'm getting to learn skills and pick up things I've never picked up, and I'm getting to be really, really hands-on. It's kind of like, in a weird way, it almost cut the middleman of kind of how music gets consumed. Like, artists have to go straight to consumer now and just interact with their fans. All these battles, all these lives, all these people are tweeting more, people are interacting with their supporters more just because, we can't go out and touch their hands physically. So it's almost made everyone a lot closer.
Yeah. I agree. Listen, keep it up, sis. All right. Keep doing your thing. It was good until it wasn't. This was absolutely. This was like the most pre-ordered album on U.S. iTunes a week ahead of its release date. And so that's a big deal. It's great to tune in to. You're going to go through a lot of, if you're in a relationship, listen to it with your partner. It's definitely a great book of love. Kehlani, thank you. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye,
Here's
Mama.
Open on Sway in the Morning, and we got Movie Junkies up next.